That's on. You ready to go, Georgie? We got a minute.
Yeah,
1 minute.
Might take him that long to get up.
Hey, we got a full house. All right, good morning. Welcome you to the Board of Works meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Welcome. Got a full house here this morning. Mr. Caesar, good to see you.
Did Brian set up an appointment? Did Brian set up an appointment?
Nope. We'll talk here in a minute. Let's get rolling. We'll start with the approval of the minutes from February 18th, and let the minutes reflect Board Member Jeff Gross is absent.
Got it.
All right, George, anything on the minutes from?
No, I reviewed them and they looked precise, so I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second that. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Again, welcome to all of our visitors. In the reports or written communication, you'll see a draft of the Deeds Creek feasibility study as well as a executive summary of the same study. That's just for Board of Works members' perusal. No action required. All right. No unfinished business. Let's get started with new business. We'll be opening sealed bids for Center Lake shoreline restoration. So let's, yes.
Brian wants to do a presentation on the Deeds Creek report.
Oh, yeah. Give me a moment real quick.
Sure.
All right, yeah. So just to give background to the board, last February, we had invested $4,500 towards a much larger layer grant for the report of this, for the Deeds Creek feasibility. And that was in partnership with other groups since that it impacts our jurisdiction, but most of the projects outlie or surround our jurisdiction. And so we had, Carno was doing the project itself. So Ross drafted that brief overview that predominantly focuses on stuff that would be the major impacts for the city. So projects.
You're talking about the executive summary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's going to highlight projects that are for flood storage as well as sediment transport. But Ross can briefly just describe that overview real quick here.
Very good. Yes, I'll brief. I wanted to come in since you guys were gracious enough to put up $4,500 towards the completion of the study, which does entail quite a number of things, but the main, I think, component that the city had an interest in was issues of water quantity. So looking at opportunity for flood storage in the watershed. The study itself is initially sponsored by Pike Lake Association with a grant from DNR Lake and River Enhancement Program, looking at the entirety of the Deeds Creek drainage, which is about 15 miles starting on the north side of Pike Lake, extending all the way into Whitley County. We initially set out, our goal was to identify high erosion sediment input sections of the drainage, and so we were able to accomplish that, and then we added the component trying to look at opportunities for flood storage. So within our study, we did spend a considerable amount of time on the ground walking and assessing the entirety of that drainage. We detailed really a roadmap for the surveyor's department and the county drainage board that they can use as opportunity for future maintenance and improvement projects. Within that, we did identify 6 priority sites that we've carried through all the way to conceptual design. You'll see those detailed in the full report, but those are really focused primarily on issues of bank stabilization, opportunities for additional sediment, either retention or nutrient retention on site of those various areas. We have projects that are all the way at the bottom of the drainage, which we identify as Reach 1. That's just upstream of Pike Lake all the way to almost the Whitley County line. So I think we had a good mixture of opportunities as far as potential projects, and with that, we were able to get a lot of interest from different stakeholders. You know, various people have their own interest in the watershed and things that they'd like to see improved. So we had the county involved, obviously the city, the Lake Association, the Watershed Foundation has been a contributor, and then we anticipate that DNR Lair will continue to support these projects as they're implemented over the next number of years, either through final design or design and construction of the various projects. So I won't, as to not take too much time, I won't dive into the details of the exact projects, but the overall recommendations that came from the study, we'd like to implement the 6 priority sites that we identified. We carried those through concept design, so those are ready either for construction or final design and construction. We'd like to look for opportunities to pursue the various flood storage areas that we identified in the study. We have 6 that we thought set up the best as far as potential for flood storage. Those are areas typically that are adjacent to Deeds Creek, low-lying marginal land that could be with additional floodplain connection or grading. We could better connect the drainage itself to some of those surrounding areas. One thing I want to note, there is a difficulty overall, and it's going to take continued coordination with landowners and with the drainage board. They aren't typically of the mind on a regulated drain to promote flood storage within their 75-foot right-of-way or their easement that's there. So it's got to be opportunities where the impacts of the additional flood storage in those adjacent areas isn't going to impact, or at least adversely impact, the overall goal of drainage that the board obviously has. So something to keep in mind and to consider going forward. Beyond the 7 sites that we identify as far as flood storage opportunity, there's additional opportunities, especially in the headwaters of the Deeds Creek watershed and in those tributaries that are coming into Deeds Creek. Sometimes on a smaller scale, the concept of wetland creation or flood storage is a little bit easier to tackle as opposed to trying to accomplish it further down in the watershed where you've got obviously a greater drainage area that's coming to that point. We'd like to see additional opportunities for that channel to floodplain connection that we talked about and that we detail in the report. Beyond that, I think we really focus on bank stabilization opportunities, and the downstream reaches of Deeds Creek is really is a focus area, and that consists of stable slopes, seeding, blanketing those areas as those projects are pursued largely in part by the drainage board. 2-stage ditch opportunities, there are some there. One of the limiting factors I think in this watershed is the presence of some of the muck soils, and that doesn't really line up well with that 2-stage ditch concept as it's detailed in the report. And then beyond that, we really do encourage additional stream restoration in the headwater streams that are there, additional diversity in the stream bed, whether that's, rock cobble, gravel, pools, riffles, things like that, wood present in the stream. Those are all great things as far as tools for retention of sediment and nutrients. And you lack a little bit of that opportunity as you get further down in the drainage, just because you have that regulated aspect that's there. You've got a little bit more of a uniform. We're trying to accomplish drainage, get the water off the site, as far as all the agricultural impacts that are there. So targeting some of the headwater, further up in the watershed and in those tributaries that come to Deeds Creek might be the easiest way to accomplish some of those goals. So thank you guys for your involvement and support with it. I really do think it's going to be a good roadmap for not only the county, but a lot of different stakeholders to make some improvements in this watershed over the coming years. So,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
James, yeah, I had a question. Obviously, the importance of this watershed is not just our little piece of it. This is obviously going all the way back to the beginning. Where not to be self-centered, but where does this impact the city and Pike Lake?
That's what I'd like to address for you.
Thank you.
Our interest as a city in this, the findings of this study, although it's all in the county, sediment transport, erosion, it ends up in Pike Lake.
Yep.
So our focus here is the water quality. We're interested in their findings because as they're able to implement some of those proposed projects, it has a long-term impact on water quality in Pike Lake. Some of the other aspects, when we engaged with this group, our interest is also flood control in Pike Lake. And I saw it as an opportunity, although the study initially was focused on sediment transport and water quality. They're bank stabilization, but that, I get that. I mean, bank stabilization is a good thing, but if they don't do those projects, all of that washes into the lake at some point. So the city's interest in this project is water quality from, as they're able to implement these bank stabilization projects, that ultimately helps us out. And more importantly, is there anything they can do as a part of those bank stabilization projects that gives us some type of storage? Because flood control on Pike Lake is an interest that we have. Anything we can do.
Sure.
So when they approached the city with this project and approached the utility, we were very interested for those two purposes. Could they, as they're looking for methods to stabilize the bank, could they do some two-stage digital, which technical terms, but just so you understand, we asked to do a brief presentation because this will be a long-term approach for them, project for them to do. And we're interested in how they do their, especially the more downstream sections. Sediment transport up near Pearson, it's going to be years before it makes it to Pike Lake. But sediment transport, there's a reach in there they identified between Husky Trail and 30 that needs work. We're real interested in that because that's immediately upstream of the lake. And anything we can participate with and help with that helps the lake. So that's our interest.
So would that be kind of floodplain storage up there? That's what they would
To
do?
use that area that's in that zone. We just want to have a seat at the table
Yep.
as they're looking for recommendations to the drainage board because some of those recommendations directly impact the lake.
No, it makes perfect sense, and I appreciate the work that has been done, and obviously the implications of that work. Final question, this doesn't raise the need or the necessity to do any more stabilization on our banks. I mean, we're doing those projects
Yes.
now.
You've got a bid opening that's bank stabilization
Yes.
around Center because we've stabilized the shores of Pike in those areas that needed it.
Okay.
This is kind of a future next step. We didn't initiate this project. It was initiated by others, but
Yep.
when we heard about it, we did engage with it because it benefits us as well. And we just felt it was important that the Board of Works knows that going forward, the utility's probably going to approach you at times to participate in some of these projects.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any questions, George?
Very detailed study.
Ryan, anything else you want to add?
No, James covered it.
Okay. You know, we've been saying that for about the last 10 years, you know, with James. James is going to cover it, and just want all of you here to realize that this will be James Emmons' last Board of Works meeting, unless Aaron Ott, our new engineer, decides he has to drag him back for one more, but I somehow don't think that'll happen. James, again, thank you for your expertise, foresight, as was just clearly demonstrated. We'll all miss you. You know that.
I think it's appropriate we give him a hand.
I do too. So thanks, James. You can watch your recording. If you miss the Board of Works, it'll be kept for 1 year.
And you can always live stream every other Friday.
That's right.
10:30.
Again, thank you. All right. Let's move on to new business. We've got to open some bids for the Center Lake Shoreline Restoration Project. How many do you have, Lynn?
I have two.
Excuse me.
This one is from G&G, if you'd like to look at that one.
All right, G&G Excavating, it appears that their base bid is $118,916.50, 118,916.50 base bid. James, am I looking for anything else or just a base bid? All right. George, you can verify that. And the Stranger Group also submitted a bid. And we'll find the base bid here. The base bid is $133,421.25. That's 133,421.25. I would assume you gentlemen want to look these bids over and then come back to us at the conclusion, or before the conclusion of the meeting, to award the bid.
We may want to postpone the award till the next meeting, give our consultant a chance to look it over.
Okay.
But for the minutes, the engineer's estimate on this was $117,309.
Okay.
So it sounds like we've got good prices. We just want to make sure that all of it's
Okay. So do you want to make that motion that we delay the award till the next meeting?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we table this till the next meeting.
Okay, and that meeting would be the 18th of March. I would second that. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. Here you go.
Take them for now.
Thank you. All right. Item number 2, we have a street closure for the St. Patrick's Day celebration. 110 Craft Meadery is requesting the road closure. Anybody here to present that? Okay.
Go for it, Joe.
That's something that's, I know it's gone on several years in a row, and it's,
It's on a
Well,
Thursday.
It's Buffalo Street between Center and Main. I assume that they'll be putting the big tent up
That's right.
from 4 to 10 on St. Patrick's Day, 17th.
It looks like they want the road closure to start at 11 a.m. and then reopen at 11 p.m.
Right. So it'll be a 12-hour road closure.
I assume we talked to,
I assume as a merchant on that road, he has talked to the merchants in that stretch.
he usually does every year.
Is anybody from the street department or PD that has understanding of this or been seeing this request?
Yes, I mean, that's it for the request that's been made, I think, annually now.
Yeah.
Twice a time. We do not see a problem.
Okay. There's Jason, just in time. You're on, buddy. Almost on cue. You want to come up and talk about? Yeah. We were just kind of wondering where you were, but I knew you were here.
I was hoping to sneak in. COVID is finally maybe behind us far enough that we've decided to step back out and do our St. Patrick's Day party again. So same thing as what we've done in years past. We're going to ask to block off the street. This year, fortunately, the Main Street WCDC Chamber kind of merger, they ended up picking up 2 tents for us this year, so we don't have to buy them. 2.5 years ago, you guys decided to install those clamps on the street side, which is excellent. So we're able to shut the street down a little bit later this year. So we're going to ask that it's shut down at about 11 o'clock, or between 9 and 11 o'clock, somewhere in there. We're looking to host the event from 4 to 10. We do have Warsaw PD coming down. We've hired them to come down and give us, just a little bit of supervision, if you will. We have 3 live bands that are going to play. We have Mad Anthony's, us, The Diner, Shenanigans, Warsaw Party Rentals involved, Blue Note Design is involved, and a few other vendors that are hopefully going to be involved as well. So, but that's the program this year.
And I assume that your other merchants on the closure area of the road have been notified?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Will that impact the county, those folks walking through that park?
So we're only going to have, the sidewalks will still be completely accessible from a consumer standpoint if any of those vendors do have concerns there. We will just be having the street portion blocked off. And we will actually have snow fencing as our barrier to kind of signify the
Okay.
separation area.
And you know the drill as far as notifying dispatch when you're open and closed? Okay,
course.
great. Questions?
No, I'll move we approve the request.
I'd second that. Any further discussion, questions?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Jason.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. That was quick.
He must have been watching us on the live stream and knew when to come.
All right. Now, is there someone here from Fat and Skinny? Great. Oh, I did see them. Hi, Nick. Greg, how are you all?
Doing well. How about you?
Great. So this is a closure request,
Yep.
May 20th from
Yep.
3 PM to 2 PM
2
to 12 PM.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So, like Jason said, we're hoping COVID's behind us, and so after a 2-year hiatus, 17th annual Fat and Skinny Tire Fest. So we always kick that off with the community bike ride from Winona Lake down to Warsaw, and then we'll have the BMX stunt show, kids activities, the beer tent, and live music. So we won't be doing the time trial, just too expensive, too many road closures with that. We're going to revisit that for next year, probably more of a criterium race next year around the center.
You've done that before. I think early on they did
The
it.
old downtown crit.
Yep. Indiana
Yep.
to Maine to Lake to
Yep.
Center.
Yep, so we'll look at doing that under the lights. So we'll do a twilight
Ah.
crit next year, but that takes a little bit more sponsorship dollars. So
Sure.
we got to have a year to get some new volunteers and directors trained on Fat and Skinny. So we'll still bring everybody downtown. And so it's Center from Indiana to Lake, Buffalo from Market to Maine, and Indiana from Market to Maine as well. So activities will probably start around 6, but we'll need to start setting up as soon as possible.
So what type of activities will you have your
We'll have
jumpers?
the BMX stunt show.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll have the Tracy's trailer, so the kids' activities
Great.
and those kinds of things. So, yep.
Music and food vendors.
Yep.
Okay.
We're working with the chamber, and so
All right, so this map's a little, explain our closures again here.
yeah. So we've got the critical mass ride that will come down. So we're working with Joel Beam and the police and the chamber, and so the BMX stunt show will basically be right there in front of Matt Anthony's on Center, and kids' activities will be kind of right around the corner, and then we'll have the tent in front of 110 there.
Yep.
So,
So you're closing Indiana and Buffalo from Market to Maine.
correct,
You're closing Center from Indiana to Lake.
correct,
And then you're closing Lake from Center to Maine. Is that correct, in front of the courthouse?
That would be
Center from,
Yeah, from
Lake.
Center Street, from Main to Lake Street,
yep,
and then from Buffalo, from Main to Market, and then from Indiana, from Main to Market.
Okay. Have you closed Lake Street off in the past like that? So you're essentially surround, 3 sides of the courthouse will be closed?
Correct.
Okay.
2 sides of the courthouse.
Lake Street.
You've got Lake Street closed.
No.
You've got Lake, Center, and Buffalo.
This is my map.
You'll still be able to
This
go
map
down-
that's in
yeah.
board pack is showing
Oh, it might be an old one then.
Lake Street being closed from Center to Maine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
So
then.
that's not, all right, so
Yeah.
this is,
We had resubmitted a new one.
Yeah, this is a little different.
But this one's not right because you're not going to do, oh, jeez, you gave me something different.
yeah, if you look at it like that.
Sorry, that was my copy. That was my copy.
That's got the race on it, time trial on it. Okay, now we got it. Got it. Okay? So the map in the board pack is not correct.
Correct.
The map you just gave us,
Yes.
again, let's go through it again.
Yep,
Indiana and Buffalo are closed from Market to Maine.
correct.
Center is closed from Lake to Indiana,
Yep,
and that's it.
yep.
Okay. All right. Right, and that's the normal closure.
Yep.
Okay,
Prior to doing the time trial, that's the, yep.
got it. All right.
Emergency service.
I don't have any questions. Scott or Garrett, in your role. Garrett, are you around here?
He's
There
back
he
in
is.
the back.
Emergency vehicles, no problem.
Yeah, I was just trying to picture it all in my head, as long as we have access to get at least an ambulance,
Yep, totally.
someone close.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'm great. I'm happy to have you guys back. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, this is all good.
Two-year hiatus is a long time.
Yeah, yeah, got to dust off the plans.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
All right,
I'll make a motion that we approve the road
Great.
closure.
all right. I would second that wholeheartedly.
Awesome.
Any further comments, questions?
See, insurance, emergency services.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you for your time, and
Yeah.
we're looking forward to great weather that night and
Yep, absolutely. We'll see you in
another
May.
good event downtown.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Jeremy, Community and Economic Development, got some more right-of-way acquisitions. Look like there's a couple parcels there.
Yes, just two of them today. You have parcel number 11 and parcel 14. The properties showing the right-of-way that we'd be acquiring is included as the exhibits, and then you have the LPA voucher forms that'll be submitted for reimbursement to NDOT. Parcel number 11, Anchorage Properties, in the amount of $29,930, and the Howell sign, parcel 14, in the amount of $2,140. And those will both be paid out of edit.
So it looks like the one parcel includes some advertising signage. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, so the sign, because it's a separate owner, they have an easement, that's why it's being paid for them, they'll have to move that sign.
Hence the higher cost of that parcel.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Not questioning, just clarifying.
No. I'll make a motion, we approve.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Fire. Garrett, are you going to present? Yes. Yeah, the Cummins Sales and Service permission to renew.
Yes, so that's all it is permission to renew our annual Cummins agreement for maintenance of our generators at Station 1, 2, and 3, and Warsaw PD.
All
That
right.
was it. That's all we got for this month.
I see that was board approved.
Yeah, I was not the board of, the Fire Territory Board, but I assume that they approved it,
It was approved.
so they recommended it to this board.
Yes, sir.
Okay, grab it real quick here, I'm having a little trouble. Yeah, that was approved just a couple days ago. All right, questions?
No, means it's important. I'll make a motion, we approve that.
All right, I would second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jennifer. We've got Warsaw Health Systems contract.
Yes, this is just an agreement that I'm asking that you accept for low-dose CT scans for and chest x-ray as a wellness program for full-time paid sworn firefighters. We do have some bumper guards. They have to be 40 years old and, again, a full-time sworn firefighter. It is part of wellness. We were awarded a cancer grant last year to help pay for this. And then if there's any extra charges, that it's the intent to be taken out of wellness through the trust.
All right. Questions?
No, seems like very good pricing.
It is,
Fair.
and it's good for 3 years, so we got them locked in.
Yeah. No, I'll make a motion, we approve that for the wellness services.
All right, I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, and then on to the new hire.
We have a couple officers who are actually moving around in shifts during that first year of training. Joe Rentz is a replacement at the street department, and our new engineer is going to be on the planning commission as a board member, replacing James. So we just need permission for that, please.
All right. Questions?
No, I'll move we approve the request.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And then you've got travel requests.
Yes, we have a couple from the street department. Superintendent Dustin Dillon will be going to Purdue Road School with his assistant Joe Veeder. And Lucas Vanderhart is going to do some training for the police department, and Rebecca Schrag, she's our most recent or new employee, a year or so ago, for a national planning conference as the assistant city planner.
All right, take a look here.
San Diego.
San Diego. Yeah, and Justin and I were talking about that she may need help or something, that we could join in with her out in California too, for sunny weather.
Okay.
You
All
have
right.
questions?
Is there a professional education component to that, Justin? Is she able to keep her continuing ed requirements up?
Yeah, those credits can go to professional development, but it mostly applies if you have some sort of certification. This is just for her professional development, since she's relatively new to the planning profession. We just thought it would be beneficial to send her to the conference this year. So we try to go to that when possible, and this is the first year in the last couple of years that they've reopened that. So.
Okay. Is the APA, what does that stand for?
American Planning Association.
So are those like public planners or, yeah?
Yeah,
Like
so-
municipal and?
Yeah,
So
and
it's
we're
very
members.
specific to our type of practice, if you
Yes,
will?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just current practices, best
Got it.
practice, a lot of conferences, a lot of different
All right.
sessions. So.
All right. George, question?
Nope, I'll move to approve the travel.
Okay, I would
request.
second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. Stacy Young, representing the IT Governance Committee, has 3 proposals. We'll start with the third floor.
Yes, so this is an agreement with Metronet to provide new phone service to the third floor of City Hall. Currently, our service is only covering the basement and the first 2 floors of the building. The phones would be added, as well as 2 conference phones, and that would support some city offices moving up there, as well as the entities that are leasing from the city right now as well. And then this looks like it would be an increased cost for the city, but you'll see on the third agreement that I'm presenting, well, you may not notice it, but they've decreased the cost of that third agreement so that we actually are not seeing an increase in cost overall. We had some challenges, to say the least, getting to this point, and that was one of the things that they were willing to do, is not add this increased cost for this new service to our monthly charges.
So we're replacing our city phones at no charge
Yes, yes.
at the end of the day.
Right,
Okay.
right. And they've reduced the cost of that by $130-ish a month, yes. So these third floor phones will not increase our monthly cost as a city for services.
Questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Okay, so the second agreement is also with Metronet. This is to build out fiber service to the third floor of City Hall, because again, we are only servicing the basement and the first 2 floors at this time. And then the other part of this project would be to move our fiber equipment from the locked closet that it's currently in over to our server room. Our server room is secured, we're monitoring it environmentally, so we want to get that equipment moved to a more appropriate location now that we have that space. And so it's a one-time cost to do both projects, for them to bring their crews in and do those build-outs and moves for us.
So this will help with security, cybersecurity.
It will help the security side, and then just environmentally, we have, environmental equipment in the server room to keep the humidity at the right level and temperature at the right level. So, yeah, not just the physical security of accessing cameras, but also just protecting the equipment from humidity and temperature fluctuations as well. This fiber supports the entire city. It branches out to all of our departments. So we want to make sure that it's operating correctly and staying in good shape.
All right,
I'll move to approve.
good. I'm good with that. I'll second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, and the third one.
This last agreement is also with Metronet, and this is to replace all of our phones citywide with a newer model. We have gotten to the point where Metronet no longer supports and uses the Cisco phones that we have, and so there have been issues with replacing phones that maybe are broken, or we have a new employee come on and it takes a while to get a phone. It takes longer than it should to get a new phone for them. And so Metronet has agreed to replace all of our phones with their newest model that they actually just rolled out a couple of months ago. So we will be on their newest one moving forward. They had originally wanted to charge us an extra $12,000 to do that, and we negotiated that they needed to provide those to us at no extra cost, because it was their supply issue, not our issues with the phones. So this will not increase our cost, and then they actually reduced the cost of this monthly overall phone contract by roughly $130 a month, so that those third floor phones that you just approved won't increase our total cost. It's kind of all intertwined. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I know Stacy spent a lot of time and persistence, if you will. And you can see by the negotiations that she did a good job. It took a little bit of doing, and obviously these contracts all are a bit intertwined, but were presented separately, were unraveled so that you can understand the components to them. So I feel good about all three of these, the way they've been negotiated.
Part of the reason we separated them out as well was so that we could prioritize projects that were more important, that needed to get rolling more quickly. If we took it as a lump, then we would be waiting longer for a project manager and for them to build that into their schedule. So by breaking them apart like this, we can take the highest priority project and get it rolling quickly, and then work the others in as time allows. So,
Like the mayor said, great job. I'll move to approve.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank
Thank you.
you. Larry, you got a grant?
Yes, I'd like your approval to apply for the Indiana Arts Commission grant for the 2022-23 season in the amount of $5,000. This grant supports our summer concert series. In previous years, we received about $4,000 to $4,300 through this grant, and that's about 40% of our cost for our Friday night concert series. So it's a very important part of our Friday night concert series. So we'd like to apply for that again.
Appreciate that. And it's good to have that opportunity to help underwrite the cost of that really, really popular program. So
I'll move to approve.
I will second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Justin, I see you're making your way forward for a employment agreement for on-call engineering services.
Yeah, so today I've submitted for your approval the on-call engineering services agreement between the City of Warsaw and Emmons Engineering. As we heard earlier, today is James Emmons' last day with the city, but he has offered these services as a way to smooth the transition with the new city engineer coming on board. all the projects that James works on through the departments, it's really beneficial to have some of his time available to us. So this is that agreement. It equates to about 3 hours per week of his time. It's a little bit flexible, so if there's a need to go over that time allotment, there's also an hourly rate that we could use his services. So we'll use our incoming city engineer, Aaron Ott, as a conduit. If he has any questions or anything for James, he's made himself available. So we really appreciate James doing that. So I just ask that you approve that contract.
So that means you're almost retired.
Gonna keep him in here as long as we can.
That's right. All right, questions?
No, I'll move to approve that.
I will second that, and again, I really echo what Justin just presented, the value of having that transition. Obviously, an engineering role is a very complicated, technical, broad role that having sometimes ability to transition is going to be really critical. So with that, I second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. All right, Justin, you have a final plat, Phase 1 of the Buffalo Street Townhome project?
Yes, so this plat requires Board of Works approval. This is for the final final approval of Phase 1 for the Buffalo Street Townhomes project. So we just really need the board to sign off on that signature page so that this final plat could be recorded at a county level. So just let me know if you have any questions about that.
So are there any changes?
It's basically the way it was designed. So it's just that those townhomes, as they build them, they subdivide them into those lots. So it's pretty much the same as it was before.
Okay.
Justin, were you going to bring the plat so they could sign it?
Yeah, it's in the
Okay.
back of the
All
room,
right.
so I'll bring it up after the
All right.
meeting.
Okay.
All right,
I'll move to approve. You're all right with that?
all right, I'll second that. Any further questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, Justin, you've got a pay app for the Lincoln Sidewalk project?
Yeah, so the last item I have for you today is pay app 25, and this is for preliminary engineering services. We're nearing the end of that phase of this project. These services are in the amount of $3,690. We're getting ready to let this project soon, so we'll know how that project will move forward after that letting date. So.
All right,
I'll move to approve the pay app.
I will second. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it. All right. Chief, or who's going to present the request to pursue the sealed quotes?
Good morning. Yes, the
Hi,
police
Chief.
department would like to pursue the 3 police vehicles, Dodge Durango pursuits. Since that amount is over 50,000, less than 150,000, we're going to solicit quotes from 3 dealerships. Would you request your permission to solicit those quotes?
All right.
Are they replacing we'll get,
We
We'll
still,
sell.
are they replacing the Ford utilities? Is that?
okay, all right.
Well, I mean, they're just a model, and, currently, we're just trying to ascertain, police commissions in general based upon the shortage of new vehicles. So we're making every effort. So our fleet is full of Chevys, Fords, and now Dodges. So, and it gives us an opportunity to test a vehicle. We did pick up one of these last year, and we've had good reviews. So we're excited about having 3 more.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably important to get moving on this because it could be a while.
Correct.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. Never know.
Right.
All right. Other questions?
No, I'll move, we approve the request for pursuing the quotes.
All right, I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Stormwater, Kelly Park Pond Project. Hi, Brian.
Hi. This is a contract with Burke for construction or services during construction for the Kelly Pond project that's going to be starting probably early summer.
Okay. And that's in the amount of $22,800 for those engineering services. Are this like oversight services? Or?
Yeah, this is oversight,
Okay.
questions that come up, and
All right.
we'll do much of the oversight within the city, but they're going to come up a couple times a week or whatever and check it, and then any questions that come up or any problems that we run into that we need the engineer's input, that's what it'll be for.
Okay. All right.
I'll move to approve.
All right, I will second that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. And then you've got one more item, engineering for sewer rehab.
Yes, this is just continuing the sewer rehab that we've been doing since 17 or so. This is sort of getting our next group of sewer lines ready so we can put a bid packet out for this year.
I think you've used Westler for some time on these projects and been happy
They've
with them.
been since the beginning.
Yeah.
That's who we've used.
Very good. All right. Questions?
No, I'll move to approve.
All right, I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thanks, Brian. No special claims, it appears.
Nope.
All right. I think there's
All claims are special.
3 dockets.
Special. Yes, there's 3 dockets this time around.
George, did you see any
I went
items that
through 'em and-
raised a red flag to you?
I didn't see any red flags this time.
Okay,
So,
is that a motion to approve them as presented?
so I will motion we approve the claims dockets as presented.
All right, I will second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Any other items carried forward? All right. Again, like to welcome Garrett Holderman, our new fire chief. This was his first Board of Works meeting, and I think you'll all agree he did fine. Thank James for his last meeting. We'll be seeing Aaron Ott up here doing, continuing the great work James has done. Again, James, good luck. As I said yesterday, you're going to love retirement, and you deserve it. So thank you again. All right, any other comments or questions? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, thank you.